What's up, everybody? Jackson here today, as always, with my little brother Chubbz.
Hello, everybody.
Almost felt like I was spitting a rhyme for some reason right there. I had a flow to it for some fucking reason. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about a plethora of subjects that we've kind of been sitting on and debating. Are we going to do a video or do a video? Are we going to do a video? It's getting really hard to do a video. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. It's kind of going to be it's going to be part of all of the stories we're covering today.
Yes.
It's so hard for us to fucking put ourselves out there. So, for starters, let's talk about 2020, the year of the dipshit zombies of Facebook and social media. Okay, now here's the thing about this. Before I even start, I want to make it clear that me and Chubbz, we don't think that like COVID-19 coronavirus is not a credible threat, that it isn't a health risk for many, many, many people across the whole world. That it's not a serious thing. That
A serious epidemic
Yeah.
that needs to be handled. And,
Yes.
there needs to be certain safety precautions,
Yeah, we're not saying that at all.
We're not
What
saying that the
is-
CDC shouldn't be working on a treatment because it's nothing.
Yeah. So what we're saying is, because of the way the public consumed the knowledge and reacted to the knowledge, it is the year of the dipshit. You had people going out en masse to buy toilet paper, which I still didn't understand why that was happening.
Baffling.
Yeah, like out of nowhere. Okay, so there's a virus that's like the flu, that's a serious risk to people with pre-existing conditions and elderly people's whose immune system is starting to wane. Okay, everyone buy the fucking toilet paper.
Everybody buy it. Just buy that.
And like, I still to this day, like, I heard several things, but nothing I could back up with credible facts.
Right.
That it was that people were concerned because a lot of toilet paper factories are in China, and they thought that
But
it was gonna...
such an odd thing. I remember going shopping shortly after this scare, and they had pretty much everything that I needed. Like a couple miscellaneous items were missing, you know what I mean? But that fucking toilet paper roll, you could see the shit on the other side of the racks. It was just a barren wasteland of nothing. And I was just like, what the fuck happened here?
And then you find out that people are marking it up because, of course, what better way to view a health crisis, a national health crisis, than, I gotta get everything for myself. I gotta make sure my asshole is taken care of.
And that I can make a
Fucking
profit.
literal representation of how fucking awful people are, that all they're really concerned about is their own fucking ass. Like, how fitting is that shit? And then you got the guys buying up all the hand sanitizer to resell that. And then when they get found out and Amazon cuts them off and eBay cuts them off from reselling it, then all of a sudden it's like, I'm going to donate it to the fucking local healthcare professionals who are in desperate need of this shit because they're the ones who are truly at risk every day.
Now that I can't sell it and my character's at risk.
Yeah, now that on social media I may be bashed and I may look bad, I'm going to fucking donate it so then I can retweet all of these news stories about how good of a person I am for donating it. It's like, dude, I hate 2020.
It's so dumb. And the dumbest, I want to bring this up, the coronavirus awareness. The freaking professional game streamers streaming for coronavirus awareness.
Awareness of coronavirus.
Specifically awareness. Just
Thank
that
you.
word seems so out of place.
This is after this fucking case. There's this tornado of news stories, happening all the time. And what scares me is there's this very paranoid part of my brain that doesn't trust fucking anything I've ever been told. Unless I've been able to verify it later myself. But and especially in a world where MK Ultra was real, CIA program, Project Northwoods was a real proposed fucking
where these
thing.
dark
Things took place in the shadows by very fucking evil and wicked men.
Shit that would happen by Nazis.
Yes, and that we still to this day do not know the full extent of because of the fucking redacted, papers that's been given. We still don't know the full extent of all this shit. In that reality that we live in, where that is real, And it's foolish to pretend like that isn't real and to not at least prepare yourself mentally for the, like, I don't know that this is happening. I don't believe this is happening, but I know this could happen, and I believe that this could happen. It's happened time and time again where a populace has been conditioned by the overarching hierarchy of power structure into behaving a certain way and being okay with a certain way of life. You got that for just a simple example, I'll throw out peasants who weren't allowed to read Latin because Latin was the language the Bible was written in, and the only language it was allowed to be written in because it was a symbol of class and also a tool used to control people, because if you control the populace's eternity, then their day-to-day life will be whatever the fuck you say.
And if you're a holy man who knows
their soul,
Latin,
their redemption,
you
their fucking
own
existence, dude.
Yeah, you own that person's life.
Yes, and you have them trained into believing that you do, because at a very young age they're taught these things, that this is the way it is and this is the way it's got to be because God and blah 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 blah.
And religion, and you're the holy man, you know Latin, you read the holy book, tell me what it says.
So these things have happened time and time again throughout history where that's just the case. So I look at this and I hear things like Nevada, they closed Las Vegas completely, and their entire death toll from coronavirus is less than half of 1% of the entire population. Now, if they open it up, could it get worse? Possibly. But what I'm concerned about is that maybe this is just a preemptive test to see how the populace would handle a fucking health crisis. Maybe it's a way to see if we would react poorly and see how far they could push it with the help of the media and social media and all of these programs that are directly plugged into people's fucking brains, where they're actually receiving like ethereal fucking feelings of like, oh, they liked my post, oh, they retweeted my thing, oh, they fucking, you know what I mean? And that's a real thing that's part of the platform. That's why they give you notifications with the buzz. That's why they give you the notifications with the chime. It's all built to stimulate the mind into getting interacted with this fucking thing that now you've created a bubble around yourself within.
Oh yeah.
Because these platforms, all of these platforms, be it Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all of them understand that in order to make money, you have to filter people into things that they like, not things that will challenge the way they think, not things that will challenge you need to filter them into that. And all's the better because now you've created this bubble over here, but now there's also this bubble over here and this bubble over here because everyone has a team now.
There's room for all of the bubbles.
All of the bubbles, but the bubbles keep clashing against each other. And that's what they want. Ultimately, that's what they want because that's when stories are getting shared. That's when videos are getting watched. That's when streams like bringing awareness to coronavirus by professional game streamers. That's why that video exists. It exists because this bubbled whirlwind is all clicks and cash.
Yep.
That's what it all is. You get the news media, that same video, like I was saying, that I watched with the governor of Las Vegas or mayor of Las Vegas saying we want to open our fucking, like, we're losing. Can you imagine how much money Vegas is losing by not being open? And is that worth the possible health thing? I don't know. I'm not here to make an opinion on it.
Well, I'm
just here to say this is what's happening. But in that same news story where I see about that,
right,
it follows it with like 3 victims of coronavirus stories.
Oh yeah,
these 3 people died
There's
of
people
coronavirus.
Who died. And a lot of this is you gotta question: did they die simply because of the virus, or, from my understanding, is it a pre-existing condition, or the condition got worse and developed into pneumonia, and so it wasn't just the coronavirus that killed them? Because that's a very important detail you gotta fucking take into consideration.
Well, it's also important to take in consideration that this, from everything that I understand about this, that I have researched about this, is like most people aren't really at risk. What you're at risk of as a younger person or someone who has a fine immune system, you take your fucking dailies, you're good on that front, you're going to be fine. The risk is that you could give it to someone who wouldn't be fine.
Yes.
Right, and that's why we got the social distancing, that's why we got all these things going on. The face masks. And all of that makes sense. All of that makes sense to me, where it's like, okay, well, let's stop the spread of it while we can research it long enough to where we can find a credible treatment.
Yes.
Where if you do get this and you have a weakened immune system, it's not a fucking death sentence, you know what I mean? So, like, I'm all for that. But the news media takes this, and it's not about, you know, like, let's deliver hard facts about what their research has revealed. Let's not deliver anything like that. It's like death toll numbers, infected numbers,
mass burials in New York.
We really don't know how many people are affected because their testing is inaccurate and there's not enough tests, so it's could be fucking everywhere. And it's just this stream of fucking like panic. So part of me is like, okay, recognizes that probably what that is really is just that like Bearded Grizzly was fucking right. And I can't believe I'm gonna say that. And he wasn't right about Destiny, and he wasn't right about Bungie should be praised because they fucking repeatedly done the same thing, which is a middle finger to the community, pulled back promises on free content, and continually expanded the game in the way where you get on, it's comfortable, it's safe, it's a fucking kiddie park for you to go hang out with your friends in after work, and then they fucking sell you ridiculous fucking items at egregious prices, and they have the entire news media from the gaming on board where there's articles written specifically just about the new shit for sale at Everest, at the Tess Everest store, right? He wasn't right about any of that, but what he was right about, 100%, like, he was right that negativity is how you make the money on YouTube. It's not just YouTube, though.
How you make clicks.
Bearded Grizzly was onto something, but he was attacking the wrong target because B. Dobbins is not just making negativity for views.
Yeah.
He's not. He's taking a game that he wants to be better and sees as it's not better because the audience that consumes it is fine with it fucking them in the ass over and over again, and is not only fine with it, willing to throw money and hundreds and thousands of dollars at retextured guns, retextured skins,
reintroduce
legendaries and exotics from the first game.
Yeah.
Right? They're willing, and when he's attacking it, I think he's negative, but I think he's negative because he's reached this point where he's like, God damn, this could have been such a good game.
Yeah.
Right? If they weren't allowed to do this and get away with this and program their audience into being this, then this could have been such an amazing game, and he sees the potential. And maybe I'm just feeling that because that's like a transfer of feelings from me. But from when I feel like when I watch his videos, that's how I feel he feels, because that's how I feel.
Right.
And I could be wrong. He could just be, B. Dobbins, for all I know, could just be someone out there who's just like, I hate everything, and I'm going to fucking make videos about how bad it is, because I know that negativity gets views. I'm not going to do it in a creative way. I'm not going to have, it's like, no, he's not that guy. There's too much thought and you know, things going into his videos where you can tell it's like, dude, he's just saying it how he sees it.
Yeah.
You can disagree with him, but that's not him being negative for views. But there's 100% a problem within this fucking industry where it becomes about being negative for views. And not just this industry, this world. Because these like I said, all these pocket bubbles of fucking consumers that are just waiting to see what they should think and what they should feel and how they should believe. They're just prime fucking waiting there for you to shove your ads into their face, to shove your fluff pieces into their face, to tell them like Fallout 76 has had a positive user rating on Steam. Yeah, that's because no one fucking bought it, except for the people who transferred over and got it for free, who are of course going to leave a positive review because they've been fine with fucking Fallout 76 and Bethesda
from day one
pissing all over them. Just like telling them there's going to be private servers and then introducing a monthly subscription if you want to play the game like you could play Fallout 4, and albeit without mods still, without console commands still, because this is online all the time. Yeah, that is the exact way I want to play a Bethesda game. Online all the time with fucking no console commands and no mods. That's exactly how, when I think of a fucking Bethesda title, that's exactly what I'm fucking looking for. So of course they get these good reviews. And of course that allows your PC Gamer hacks of the world, your Game Informer hacks of the world, your Eurogamer hacks of the world, your Kotaku fucking hacks of the world, your Polygon hacks of the world, those fucking people that are nothing more than mouthpieces for the industry to come out and say, hey, here's in a 24-hour news cycle, we will have 5 or 6 tweets all about how Fallout 76 Wastelanders has mostly positive reviews. We're going to omit the fact that, yeah, it's only got like 20 25,000 players at
How
its
about
peak.
to take into consideration that all of the negative reviews moved on because it's been out for a while, and all of those people are done.
Well,
they've done.
It initially
they're gone. They're not gonna play it again on Steam, right? They're not gonna go on to Steam and give it a negative review because they've already done and given it a negative review.
It's gonna be the ones who have been there playing it over and over again. That's where that comes from. But they don't tell you that.
No.
Because it's not about that. It's about the redemption. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And so like and
ongoing game award.
Just like with No Man's Sky, just like with fucking Sea of Thieves, that just like with Destiny even, although to a lesser extent in this where at least it was fucking like functional. Like it did what it was supposed to do day one. I could go out and shoot aliens day one. Like there were fundamental problems with the loot. There were fundamental problems with balancing. But all of that was end game things. The main game was playable. You know what I mean? Like Fallout 76 was barely playable, if at all, on release day. The features and things that were missing and all these things, but it shipped with a fucking microtransaction shop.
Oh yeah.
It shipped with that. It had no, and that's the thing. Like even with No Man's Sky, I can't even fucking like put them in the same category other than performance on day one. Right, where it was not functional, it had a lot of missing features, but to this point, they've added mechs. They've added all sorts of content to that game for people, and it's ways like ultimately, like me, I'm not wrong in my belief that I would not enjoy the game. Right, because fundamentally at its core, it's still the same game. It's a collect things, to build things,
it's
to
just
progress your stuff.
Yeah.
It's basically a collect-a-thon of things, but they've given you a better variety of planets to explore. They've given you a better variety of creature generation, and they've given you better ways to get around with buggies and now mech suits and all sorts of other things. So like, if you enjoyed the core gameplay and like you felt like that was enough. Like, I never felt like that was enough. I enjoyed it because I thought I was building towards some sort of galactic battle in the middle of the universe.
Like some
where I'd start running into my friends.
Story.
Yeah, I'd start running into my friends. I was consuming every time I'd come across one of those alien, like, Cthulhu-looking plants, I'd consume that story. I'd be like, that's really cool. I kind of like how they're doing that. I like how they're delivering it in, like, an old-school, more adventure fashion where you're discovering clues. I'm like, maybe it's my fault. Maybe I've missed things. And, that drove you deeper into exploring and looking around. And then once you realize that that's the game, like, you're either going to have enjoyed that enough to say, that's enough. That's enough of a game.
That's enough for me to come back the next time they do something
Or
new.
you're going to be someone who says, like us, like, it's not what you said it was going to be. And you were ambiguous enough to make me think things that that is my failing as a consumer. It's my failing as a consumer for buying No Man's Sky day one and not waiting for a credible review from someone I trusted.
Right.
Not a fucking article written by Kotaku.
Buying into the
because
hype.
you won't get those until a week or two after the YouTubers and the Redditors have gotten a hold of it and presented it in such a way that if the mainstream media doesn't follow along and go along with that narrative, that now it's apparent that they're hacks.
Yep.
And that's the thing, that they thrive on being sociopathic middlemen who can say, like, whichever way the wind blows. That's why when Secret of Mana is coming out, Jason Schreier, I'm so excited to play all the time.
It's gonna be awesome.
That's what's on Reddit. That's the hype. That's the hype machine that builds up.
I remember playing this as a little kid.
And then once it comes out and everyone's like, oh fuck, it's just the same game. What are they thinking? It's horrible. It's the same exact game, only graphically updated with new voice acting, remixed music tracks. It's all bad. Then he's on that side, you know, he's blowing that side, you know. I played this with my girlfriend for a little bit. We found the whole thing rather boring. In the other article, I was fucking fantastic. I remember great things about playing this with my friend.
After school.
You fucking phony fuck. You phony fucking fuck. You phony motherfucking fuck.
Yep.
And that's like what you see over and over again. And it makes it hard to defend, like, the validity of the seriousness of a crisis like this when you see how people react to it. When it's like, okay, what does the toilet paper have to do with anything? But that if it was a test just to see how we would handle it, well, I think as a populace, we fucking failed. We fucking failed. We got wrapped up in these ethereal clicks, this fake instant gratification of fucking some sort of consideration that makes us think that everything that we have done and everything we're doing is more important than anything because some random fucking person from fucking wherever the fuck clicked our fucking thing and said they liked it. Oh, thank God. And then you get a dig. Ooh, the buzzing. Ooh, the fucking tone, the chime, you know, that fucking...
Can you hear the drip of your endorphins?
Get your phone out. Look at it. Fuck everyone. I'm in the room. I don't need to talk to anyone because I got my fucking phone.
They're all on my phone.
Yep, they're all on my phone. And it's this thing where you could seriously be like interacting with someone, having a fucking conversation, and they're just in their phone. They're more concerned with what's in this fake universe. And then they get put in a bubble because they only want you to see what you want to see. Like, that's the way it works. That's why our YouTube channel is failing. That's why no one sees our stuff, because no one wants common sense fucking gaming news. And this is where I bring it back to Bearded Grizzly. This is where he was right. You gotta jump on the fucking any sort of outrage. You gotta jump all over it and come into it. And I can at least respect Bearded Grizzly, whether I agree with him in his taste in games and his allowance of giving a company credit for doing the bare fucking minimum and expecting millions in fucking revenue from microtransactions as a fucking trade-off for minimal content that they still charge you for. At least I can respect the motherfucker because he's doing what he loves about a game that he fucking loves. And he's trying to present it in a way where I love this thing. You know I love this thing. This is stuff for people who love this thing. And like, I have more respect for him than I do a fucking Jim Starling. That I do a fucking... There's so many, dude, that I just can't even... Angry Joe. People that I just can't follow anymore, where it's like, you know what? You ass. Joe fucking cries about like 90% of the games he buys to review, right? He cries about them. But what he doesn't understand is why are you buying it, dude? And that's why I think maybe, and hopefully, I was hoping this, he was getting into more of this other stuff where he's going to do like gaming news and things like that. And like maybe he's going to like try to work it out so that he can say, nah, fuck those games. If I know they're going to be bad, I'm no longer going to buy them because I bought the collector's edition of Fallout 76 with the fucking moldy helmet, and finally I've learned my fucking lesson. But what you don't understand though is that that's just like stupid of me to think that. It's stupid of me to hope that maybe that man could become a better reviewer by just sticking to his lane and focusing on games that deserve to be reviewed, and then waiting on games and getting them on sale and coming out publicly and saying, hey, I'm not buying this game. I'll review it for you, but it's going to be later at a time when it's on a deep sell, or I'm going to Redbox it. How many of these games could he not just go out and Redbox and play on his fucking Sony? How many of them could, I mean, he's got it. I'm sure he's got the newest console, the Pro or whatever it is.
Go Redbox it. Go rent it. Rent it.
You know, learn your fucking lesson, but they don't.
They don't.
Like Fallout 76 for being everything that it was, dude. Everything that it was. And you're either on one side of the fence or the other on this. You either are smart enough and intelligent enough and critical enough to understand what the fuck that was from Bethesda Game Studio, and that's because you've seen the evolution of fucking games into the Creation Club, into updates that block fucking free content from the community who actually care about the fucking universe and deliver you expansive fucking content packs for games like Skyrim and Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas that extend the game by hours and hours from a community of people who deliver genuinely better story arcs than shit that Bethesda has in years. Oh yeah. In years. You see it as what it is, as what Fallout 76 was them taking the fucking playground and saying, fuck everybody, get out. We'll decide who gets to play here, and we'll decide how much it costs them for what they want to play with. No one else gets to fucking come in here and tell and let these kids have fun. No, fuck that. You either see it as that or you're a fucking idiot. Sorry. But if you don't see it, even if you see it as what it was, what it is, odds are some of you probably still bought it. Even though you saw what it was. even though you saw and could have sought out information from people like me and Chubbz and our video where we asked the question, is Fallout 76 Bethesda's Destiny? Which it 100% fucking was.
Absolutely.
Complete with the fucking content update that saves the game and fixes the fucking thing and has a big turnaround for the fans, and they all get back in there and they start buying blue paint for $10 for their fucking power armor because they're pussies and they have to use power armor. So they got to get $10 for a blue fucking coat of paint on it.
And that's another thing, is a lot of these people were outraged to begin with, and it's like what you were saying about like how we're outraged, you know, you could be looking at us, but the biggest problem with the majority of people is they don't learn from their outrage. They don't look at it as a learning experience.
Well, that's why even when we're outraged, it's more on a level of like, man, it's more of a disappointment. Like, I'm disappointed in Bethesda for Fallout 76. I can't believe that that is the direction that the Fallout universe has taken.
Yeah.
I cannot believe that business-wise, that was the decision for their next game. That was put priority, if you believe Todd, by all these members from all these different studios that are tied into them and id Software. Like, if this is like everyone's helping you work on this is your project. Like, if you delivered that and you worked on that, I personally would feel embarrassed. Having just played a couple of fucking mods for Skyrim that are like expansive beyond fucking Skyrim Bruma, where you go back to Cyrodiil, things like that, like where I would fucking genuinely feel embarrassed to have been part of that project. And that sucks because a lot of those people are just doing the fuck what they're told. And that's what's sad, is why is this the decision that's being made? Why aren't you focusing on making a fun game, an interactive game to entertain people and have people have fun, instead of like pull at their brains and fish? Okay, well, we can expect to sell this many copies based on how many copies we sold to Fallout 4. We can take this much off because we're deciding not to put it on Steam right away. We're putting it on our own launcher, and that's because we're going to ship it with microtransactions, so we can expect these many people not to buy it. And they get these analysts that sit there, and it's their job to run numbers through a fucking machine, whether it's their head or the fucking computer, whatever. I don't know.
Some sort of algorithm of what's the top hit fucking game of today.
Dude, I can't fucking remember console codes after using them 800 times. Like, you know, but like, that's the thing, like, knowing that, like, that, why is that the decision? You know?
Yeah.
Like, why is that the decision where it's all focused on
it's
that?
all
like,
about the money.
Yeah, like, why? And it's disappointing. Like, and our outrage is more from a sense of, like, we know you can do better because you've done better.
Because you've made entire massive open world RPG games with a fine enough narrative, with multiple options of multiple different ways to go about each and different quests, and multiple builds of your character, and multiple playability. Like, there's so much replayability with all of their games.
And you add mods on top of it, where it's just, people who play and love the game are like, we should add this because this would make the game better.
Yeah.
And like, those people know because they love the game. They're playing the game. And it's these businessmen at the top, they don't care. Like, they've already pimped out the Elder Scrolls license twice now.
Yeah.
Right? It's been pimped out to Elder Scrolls Online, and now it's been pimped out to Blaze, mobile phone. Then you got Fallout. The Fallout universe was pimped out to mobile first.
Yep.
And now it's pimped out to this online all the time MMO crowd. Here's a subscription if you want to play by yourself.
Yep.
Or with your friends, specifically.
On a private server, yeah. With the freaking,
which we said were coming,
Wastelander update.
We said they were coming. We didn't mention the subscription fee we were going to charge. You know?
Yeah.
We didn't mention that you were going to have to pay for a fucking service like an MMO. Like, we didn't mention that, but they're here. That's what you have to do to get them. But they're here. This game is so much better, and it's having that redemption arc. It's in the middle
mostly
of that
positive reviews on Steam.
30 stories a day. They'll let you know. Yeah, the fucking Kotakus and the Eurogamers and the fucking all those people will let you know.
It must be really good.
It's having its positive ratings on Steam, and it's like, well, yeah, because you can only review the fucking game if you buy it, and no one's bought the motherfucker. Everyone's just moved from their servers to Steam. Because Steam is the god platform, apparently. So they'll move over here and they'll drop some good reviews on it.
Because they've been complacent with the motherfucker from
They're
day
fine
one.
with it. You see them on Twitter on this story when someone says, wow, this game is still a thing. You see like 30 fucking people come out in defense of the fucking thing. Like what you want to like. Let us like what we like. We like being ass raped by a company that we do not understand the work of.
We like mediocrity.
If you understand the work of Bethesda, if you understand what that company
if you
stood
played
for,
any previous game,
you are not okay with Fallout 76.
even Fallout 4.
Yeah, and if you're even Fallout 4.
If you played Fallout 4,
which is their weakest fucking open world RPG, might I add,
and you are still playing Fallout 76 and defending that game. And that's the thing, is I think it's just all these people who are trying to find the next hip Destiny. the next top thing. Just like the Outragers, they're just going to get outraged about the next top story today. What's the biggest scandal of today? Oh, Randy Pitchford, he's stealing all the money.
He didn't give his employees. That was what I was talking about with Angry Joe. That was one of the videos that I was finally like last strawed me. Where I had already unsubscribed him, but I was checking out his channel, watching videos,
looking at his shit. Yeah,
I'm curious. I'm like, what are you doing over here, Joe?
Are you gonna get back into game reviews?
And I saw a headline that said Randy Pitchford denies bonuses. Now that is beyond misleading and clickbaity. That is borderline lie.
You just read that headline, you go on Facebook, you say, "This motherfucker."
Yeah. So here, let's get into this, but let's start out by saying that I'm not here to defend Randy Pitchford. I don't think he needs my defense. He's got a very lucrative video game out right now that, in my opinion, is the best fucking looter shooter or Destiny-like or whatever the fuck they want to act. I say it's a Borderlands-like. All those other ones are clones of Borderlands.
Yeah.
With their loot and their fucking missions and everything, and weaker in fucking content, weaker in fucking variety of gameplay, weaker in fucking just in every aspect. Yeah, in every aspect of the fucking the fucking thing.
Core mechanics of the game.
Yes, weaker. So I don't think Randy Pitchford needs me to defend him. I mean, Randy Pitchford has his own employees like Maxine, and I may butcher your last name, and if so, I apologize, like you're watching this anyway. But Maxine Babin, who says that she's like, this is not at all reflective of the fucking culture at the company. This isn't like people are getting shorted. He was open and transparent. Management was open and transparent with what was being projected, how well we would do. We did a lot less because there's a lot of people online who were crying about us making it on Epic exclusive. So we lost a lot of money on what we thought we were going to make on the fucking PC sales.
On the initial release.
Yes. So your bonuses aren't being cut. You're not getting, it's not like you're not getting bonuses. It's just they're being reduced to reflect the accurate numbers we made, not the projections.
Yes.
Which we didn't even need to share with you anyway.
Yeah.
We didn't need to show you
those
the
were
projections.
just some bullshit numbers some statistician pulled out of the air and said, you're going to make this much.
Let's talk about Joe's video and where that's from. Where is this? This is all predicated on the article written by Jason fucking Schreier of Kotaku. The most credible source of... He never spins narratives to suit companies. It's not like he did 2 fluff stories basically annulling the fucking game companies and developers of any sort of responsibility for Destiny or for fucking goddamn Anthem. Where he took these babies and, oh, don't worry, pulled out his chubby little man tit and threw it in their fucking mouth and milked them back to better. Right? It's not like he's not a fucking incredibly horrible source of information outside of leaks on dates of video games. Anything else? This dude is a mouthpiece for the fucking industry. Look at his prior work on Overwatch. Look at his prior work on Destiny. Look at his prior work on fucking any number of things where he is always, like I said, a leafy little sociopath leaning to whichever the way the fucking wind blows. Because he is not original. He's not anything. He's a fucking shell of a fucking mouthpiece for what the industry wants you to hear.
Yep.
All right? So, 6 people came to him. 6 people who work for Gearbox. 6. Okay, now to put that into perspective, Gearbox employs over 350 people in the US And around 100, and I could be a little high or a little low on that, but around 100 employees in Quebec. I could not find a definitive number there, but I know that Gearbox in Texas or wherever they're based.
Just like a rough estimate, we Googled and the answers came back.
450, 500 employees. 450, 500 employees. Six of them got a hold of Jason Schreier and told him that they were getting bonuses, but not the projected bonuses based on the numbers before the game release. Jason Schreier writes in our outrage article, because Jason Schreier do what Jason Schreier do.
He's an outrage to be
you
outraged.
Get Jim fucking Sterling picking it up and making a video that makes him look so petty and pathetic. I can't believe anyone can look at his fat, moronic face and take him any way serious anymore about anything he fucking says. I can't comprehend it. Unless you're just someone who has no critical thought for yourself. So let Jim Sterling does it because he has a fucking British accent.
He'll tell you what you should
believe and what the problems are. He'll tell you Randy Pitchford is a con man without any proof of that. He'll tell you Randy
without
Pitchford.
Any examples.
Here's another example. Here's another perfect example of a hatchet job against Randy fucking Pitchford. A hatchet job. Remember at the fucking reveal of Borderlands 3 when he said, oh, by the way, guys, we're not going to have any free-to-play nonsense. We might do some character skins and stuff like that, but none of that free-to-play bullshit. If you're a Borderlands fan, you know what that fucking means and you have no problem with it. You don't have a problem with a game company like Gearbox and the group of people that they are and the games that they deliver, the fucking amount of hours you can lose into those things, the time spent, the entertainment found, having fun playing with friends and family. You do not give a shit if they sell some skins for $5-6 a pop. You don't care because A, they're $5 or $6 a pop. That's the same amount I paid for an action figure when I was a kid. They're fucking goddamn skins that do not matter or affect anything that you can't even really see unless you're opening your menu. And they're fucking there because they have delivered this giant content pack and they're like, hey, we should try sell some shit and make some money off of. And you're not rolling on a loot box to see what one you'll get, to see if you'll get the one you want instead of the simple recolor that has been boxed up and put into the loot box. No, the recolors are there for free. All these skins are there for free. Borderlands Ships does not have a single fucking microtransaction in it. But if you Google that narrative today, if you Google that narrative that Randy Pitchford lied and said that there wouldn't be microtransactions, you would be under the impression. You would be under the impression from people like Jim fucking Sterling, people like Jason fucking Schreier from Kotaku, people like this that sell outrage as a bubble to make the fucking money in their own. To make their own fucking cash, to give a fuck about no one but themselves and their own goddamn egos and their own goddamn fucking obsessions, right? I'm pansexual, I fuck anything. Fucking animal.
I'm fat. I'm too fat that no woman wants to fuck me, so I will fuck anything. That's what that means. That's what that means. Same with incel. Women won't fuck me, so they just can't.
I'm just a crusty old fucking boomer. I don't know shit. But either way, all I'm saying is that narrative, you would believe that narrative was a fact. That Gearbox and Randy Pitchford specifically, that he lied.
Oh yeah.
And
he lied, and he's also a fucking child molester. Ooh. Yeah, and he's also got secret bonuses from 2K, and he didn't give any of that to his employees. There's been so many fucking articles about Randy Pitchford. Now, It
gets to the point where either you have to believe one of two things. Either Randy Pitchford is everything they say he is. He's a con man. He's a piece of shit. He'll fucking jip anyone who works for him. He doesn't give a fuck about the people that work for him, even though he let them buy a portion of the company not too long ago.
Yeah.
Even though he let them buy into the fucking company where if its successes are good, its employees get a portion of that success in actual ownership of the company.
30%.
No company does that.
Like a huge amount.
Yeah, but fuck them, right? Fuck them for having analysts projected a little bit higher than the internet outrage they were probably unprepared for. Because Jesus, it's just another launcher. They won't cry that much, will they? They won't come out en masse and fucking bam, every Gearbox post, every Randy Pitchford post, everything with negative fucking post after negative fucking post about shit that don't matter. They're not gonna call him Randy Bitchford. No one would do that. They're not gonna, no, they will. And they'll hurt your cells. And that's why you 6 employees can go home and cry on your fucking satin sheets.
Yeah.
For not getting fucking everything that you thought you were gonna get. You can thank the same fucking media that you then turned around and cried to and further hurt your company.
Yeah.
Further hurt your fucking company.
And then
further hurt the goodwill of your fucking head of your CEO for hurt him in front of fucking all of his fans. Make him look like he's a fucking dick. Give people like Jason Schreier and people like that the ability
the
to,
fucking...
He's a con man. He's stealing bonuses.
Fuel to damage
bullshit.
your career even more.
Yeah.
And then eventually you keep doing this, and then the company goes under.
Yeah.
And there's no more Gearbox. And you dipshits have to go work for Bungie, where instead of you own part of the fucking company, which means that you actually have a say in the creative development of the game, whether it's just you're pitching it to Randy Pitchford or not. Like, from what I understand, all of these Gearbox employees were walking into his office with an idea and being like, here's my idea for the game. Some of it got in, some of it didn't. Bungie, you don't do that shit.
You don't get to do
the
that.
people up top, the people who fucking make the money, the people who don't give a fuck about anything, they will tell you how to make your product. They will tell you what to put into the game. They'll tell you how to handle it. You will just
right
do
now.
what you say. They say.
Here's a better thing. How about this? How many people do you think that work for Bethesda, everyone, looked at Fallout 76 and was like, why the fuck are we doing this?
Yeah.
I guarantee it was more than 6.
And that's another example of
that's
that
a narrative.
happening,
That's
where
a narrative,
like you've got people up top saying, this is the product you're fucking making. And I don't want to hear any ifs, ands. I don't want to hear, I don't know about this. I don't want to hear, this might not do that good. Or I don't want to hear, oh, it's going to be a buggy fucking broken mess, Bethesda.
Yeah.
No, you're doing this because there are games that are better than this or worse than this, and they're making millions of dollars, and we need to make those millions of dollars.
That's what's important. What's important is coming up with a games as a service model that can fish out a bunch of morons who will spend money on fucking unimportant shit to take fucking pictures to post on social media so they feel important within a community bubble based around fluffing our dick.
Yep.
That's what's important. Not the modders, not the fucking community that actually loves video games and what the experience is. That's not what matters, dude. What matters is the narcissists. What matters is the fucking fluffers. What matters is the positive spin for mediocre bullshit. And whether or not Randy Pitchford, I'm not here to defend him.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say he's been hatcheted. He's been hatcheted here.
Oh yeah.
If you don't believe that from this, like, if you look at this story and say that Randy Pitchford is a horrible human being because 6 employees out of 100,
6 out of 400.
Yeah.
Roughly.
Yeah, 400, my bad.
Roughly.
I was thinking of, roughly.
6, though. Like, 6 people.
Went to Jason Schreier, who posted an outrage article about it.
Complaining about invisible numbers that were handed down by a statistician.
That
were not concrete. They were based off of what's the top trending game of today. How much do you think this game will make? I don't know. Let me just base that assumption off of every other game on the market that's like yours.
But yours is better, so we're going to project it higher because their goddamn product is better.
Oh, yeah.
Borderlands 3 is better than Destiny 2. Borderlands 3 is better than Fallout 76.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if I want that experience, I'm not going to a Fallout game for that experience, idiots.
But these 6 people, it's like they fucking just got their... I just imagine Clark Griswold and Christmas Vacation, where he finds out that he's not getting his Christmas bonus, and he's in the middle of building a swimming pool. That's what I imagine these 6 people were doing.
These 6 people got the projections, was like, went out and bought a Ferrari.
Yeah, spent the money, and then they got told, oh, by the way, it's a little bit lower than what we thought it was going to be. I have to take it back.
All I'm going to say is, even then, when Maxine Babin, I hope I'm saying that name right, I respect her a lot. She's the girl, she's over K-Beck Studio. And she and K-Beck gave us the Commander Lilith Fight for Sanctuary DLC for free.
Yeah.
For free. If you own the Hansen Collection or Borderlands 2, you got it. Mm-hmm. They gave it to you for free for like a month. A brand new piece of content on top of a game you already love that like brings you back into it, and you're like, God, I remember why I love this game.
Yeah.
Like, I played the shit out of this game to the point where I couldn't play it anymore. And now I know why again. This new content pack for free did that. Mm-hmm. And she came out and I'll have that linked below, but it's a LinkedIn post, and she's just basically lays it out. And everyone, then the news stories the next day are Maxine Babin, creative director of Gearbox Quebec, comes out to defend Randy Pitchford's negligent lies and con man behavior. Like, for real, dude. Because the narrative is already set in place. Yeah. So we're not going to take this information and look at all of the Gearbox employees who are actively posting underneath there, praising the company, praising Randy, saying this is actually a really excellent place to work. You got the fucking word of 6 individuals, and you're going to judge an entire company of 400 plus people, right? You're going to judge that based on the word of 6 people. 6 fucking people, man.
Go work for Blizzard.
Go work for Blizzard.
You fucking idiots. Go work for Blizzard.
Go work for Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Go work for one of those.
Yeah. Go work for Activision.
Yeah.
Do it. Go work for fucking
Go be a cog in a wheel.
Go work for Rockstar Games, where they're working you to death and whipping your ass like a goddamn cow in Red Dead Redemption 2 to finish Red Dead Redemption 2. Go do it.
But even then, who knows how credible those news stories are? Who knows how credible
All I'm saying is there is a
Who knows?
Yeah.
Because these fucking goddamn mouthpieces for the industry, you cannot know what the fuck is real and what the fuck is not.
I'm just bringing up examples of how it could be so much worse.
Well, I know, and when you say that, we're learning that from this industry that tells us then that, like, Randy Pitchford is stealing fucking bonuses, when in fact, no, he just gave less bonuses than he thought he was going to be able to because the game sold less than it should have, because you fucking pussies were out there giving the game reviews like, oh, it's fucking me. The story is already old. Fucking, you got your fucking goddamn Paul Tassies out there actively writing propaganda against the game because he's clearly on Activision and Bungie's payroll. Since he's fluffed Overwatch and fucking Hearthstone and fucking Bungie to the point of goddamn cum all over his face. Right? Shamelessly doesn't give a shit. Licks it up afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Doesn't care.
And then asks for more.
And then writes articles like, Borderlands have so many problems. Here's what they are. Borderlands, Borderlands.
It's bad. It's just bad.
And it could also be because it's not a kiddie park for you and your friends to go show off your fucking skins you got in your random loot box.
Yeah, an experience that your game journal mind can consume in 20 minutes and write a paragraph on.
Yep.
Like you're the fucking authority on fucking what is good in gaming. With the attitudes of like Dean Takahashi. Jesus. Fucking idiots.
He came back in with his Doom gameplay like a bouse. Fuck it, dude.
Yeah, dude. I mean, you're not getting fired. I wouldn't fucking quit.
Dude,
if I was Dean, I would hang on to that job.
I would rebrand myself as like the bad boy who don't give a fuck about it.
Yeah.
Like I would be out there like, yeah, I suck. Suck my dick and buy my magazine, bitch.
Yeah.
Fucking like...
Fucking A.
Yeah, I've been in this industry for X amount of years
like,
making money
own that
not knowing shit.
Have some self-awareness.
Yeah. I don't know.
But nah.
That's why it's gotten harder for us to make videos. If we're being real honest. It's not about not wanting to make videos for our audience. It's that we get depressed because this is the world we live in. And it's not about who you are. It's not about the content of your thought or the content of what is in your soul and your heart and your mind. It's all about like, how can you help me? What do you have? what do you own? What do you do?
What do you do?
What you know? That's what matters.
How
It's
do you
the
live your
superficial,
life?
You know, and the thing is I'm fine with it because I sleep with the comfort of knowing that the same maggots that will munch on my fat ass when they drop me in the ground is gonna eat every single one of them negative motherfuckers too. That think that in a time of crisis, the right move is to buy up fucking all of the hand sanitizer and toilet paper you can, and then resell it at a higher marked up value, so you can make some fucking money off of shit that is killing people. I'm fine with it. I'm fine being who the fuck I am, and I'm fine with you being who the fuck you are. And I love that we do have this core audience that are mostly from other countries. Like, the majority of our people that hit us up and like our shit and comment. But there's a lot of dudes from here too.
Oh yeah, but that's one thing that I really noticed is like the large majority of people, like I used to think that, all right, this is like just the vocal minority, right? Like not everybody can be this way about the industry of video games
and not
be
see
this
it,
complacent
and not understand it
and not learn from their outrage.
blind.
And like if you're gonna get pissed, at least be like, okay, what did that teach me? Oh, this taught me not to do this thing because that's why that pissed me off. No.
Yeah.
It's like the overwhelming majority of population is just like here to play games because gaming is big. And they're complacent with games because everybody else is complacent with games. Or they're outraged about a game because everybody's outraged about a game. And it's not about like getting down to the actual subject and talking about it and dissecting it. And that's not just with games. It's with movies, music,
television,
news, the coronavirus. Think about it. Like, I brought this up the other day. Star Wars, this new wave of outrage with the movies, and I was a part of it, and you were a part of it. But the thing about our outrage is we were just talking about it in a sense of, like, why are they doing it? Or, like, trying to learn what the fuck is going on with this, and ultimately it boils...
Who stopped caring all of a sudden in Hollywood?
Yeah, and ultimately it boils down to some hack manager who can't manage a goddamn movie company.
Oh, I think she can.
Hires 3 separate guys.
I think that ultimately Kathleen Kennedy got the majority of what she wanted in those movies.
But really what it boils...
Rey is a Mary Sue.
Well, yeah,
Luke is literally
if you think about the problems,
castrated on screen.
I know, but if you think about the problems of the new saga, the biggest problem is a lack of continuity and a lack of vision.
Yeah, containment.
Because it's 3 separate scripts from 3 separate guys written all at the same time.
I think the first script and the third script were both written by JJ with help from a different guy. I think the guy who did Batman versus Superman helped the new guy.
Right, but I'm talking about that was the original plan because Colin Trevorrow was supposed to do the third one, but he left to do Jurassic Park because he found out Rian Johnson's movie after he wrote his script, which in his script, Luke Skywalker was a huge character, and then he read the fucking giant Rian Johnson script after he wrote his, and he's like, oh, Luke's dead? I quit. Like, you don't do this type of shit. There's a clear overlaps of story, and you need to fucking construct this with a vision in mind and have a beginning, middle, and end planned.
Here's the thing about Star Wars is you have that mouthpiece of the fucking like popular YouTube reviewers.
Well, you had this huge wave of outrage where everybody was all up in arms, and you either have 2 sides of the fence. You hated it, or you're a racist, white supremacist, misogynist. So those are the 2 sides. And out of all of this bullshit, I think the only person that like got big off of the outrage that deserved it was fucking Mahler. Because Mahler actually dissected the motherfucker and got down to the subject and like really, and a lot of them were just like...
I think we did that. There were a lot of people who did that. But there were also a lot of people who did 13-minute videos about how bad
10
it was.
minutes about...
but they made 30,000 of those.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it wasn't just 1 or 2. It was like, okay, this is getting
every day, every week.
And that's a cause of YouTube. Like, YouTube tells you shit like that. Like, YouTube tells me all the time that my Dean Takahashi video is trending again, and I should look at making more content like that. When it's like, I don't want to make more content like that. That was my piece that I said at the time, that I genuinely felt when I read a man coming out who is just awful at his job, trying to say that it was like people who got Trump elected who were the problem. And it's like, look, dude, I didn't vote for Trump. I think he's a giant fucking clown. I'm concerned. You don't get to fucking say that. Like, we made a video about you that no one got to see because Cuphead's fucking musician claimed it, and then we had to delete it because they refused our fucking decision to revoke it. So I deleted the fucking video that was probably set to have more views because it wasn't me being angry. It was me and Chubbz being funny and joking about this shit and how it's reflective of the entire fucking media nowadays. These people do not know what they're talking about. These people who are posting news stories about how good Fallout 76 is now after Wastelanders, how good fucking Bungie is after Destiny 2 and leaving Activision, how good Sea of Thieves is now that they've added color boats and like colors for you to farm, even though the gameplay is the same, right? All that's the same. All these people don't know dick about games. They don't.
Nope.
You can't know shit about Bethesda Game Studios and say that Fallout 76 is a good product and a win for that fucking studio. If you say that, fuck you. You are not a Bethesda Game Studio fan. Sorry. If you're a Bethesda Game Studios fan, you're sick of them. And you're about to be done buying their games. I haven't bought since Fallout 4. I own all of them. I own all of them up to Fallout 4. Right? I do.
Yep.
But I don't care.
And
I'm not buying Fallout
anything
76.
after 76 is like, I will
I
wait.
will stay the fuck away from it. Because the thing about it is with Fallout 4, that's a game that's worth buying on PC. And revisiting on PC with all the mods from the community. If you can get them working over the updates that they fucking throw at the thing because people spend money on Creation Club shit.
Yeah. With all of the problems aside, though, it's still like a 100-hour game.
Yeah.
Like 100 hours where like one playthrough can get lost into 100 hours. It's ridiculous
and
how much time.
It's really hard to revisit because the narrative is very boring.
Mm-hmm.
Very boring.
Oh, yeah.
Almost every interaction in that game is fucking boring after the first time going through it.
Oh, yeah.
And that's sad because, like, with Skyrim, it's not like that. With Oblivion, it's not like that.
And that's the thing, is it's really ultimately to a point where it's like, I have a hard time believing that the majority of people who are complacent about this shit, who are
even care.
The reason why, like, Jason Schreier are still writing articles, they don't care because they don't have a previous history, a passionate history that has roots with video games.
Yeah.
And like a lot of these game journalists, I have this theory that they're
people with no personality, with no idea, just hopping on it. It's like people who liked the ending of Game of Thrones. If you liked the ending of Game of Thrones, you thought it was good, you're dumb. You are a dumb.
You find no
and you don't like season 1, you don't like season 2. You don't like the good seasons. Because if you like the good seasons and you're not willing to say that, okay, well, later seasons still had compelling parts and interesting things, but ultimately ended up being worthless in the end, completely
and
untied.
Devaluing my entire time.
Instead of trying to thread things together, they just kept adding strings.
Until they burnt it.
Mm-hmm. It's just like...
It's like they were quilting a blanket together, and then at the last episode, they were just like, gas!
You get to this point where you don't want to be the guy that's always, or the guys that are always like, bah, 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 bah.
Freaking out and outraged about it.
You make a video about something you love and spend a lot of time doing something you love and no one gives a fuck. Like, not you, our core audience, who I know is still here watching this. You know, all
we're
of you
talking
guys.
about
I'm not going to go through the names, but you know who you are. The people who regularly engage on our channel and let us know that you enjoy what we do and you like our videos, and you genuinely do. You genuinely are here because you enjoy the content we're putting out.
Oh yeah.
Like, we're not. It's the everyone else, man.
Sickness of outrage and how it's so easy to sell.
Yeah, seeing that Randy Pitchford just got destroyed over essentially the word of 6 unidentified people. Like, if they're so stood in their conviction, why don't they come out and say it openly?
Yeah.
I mean, they could face legal action from Gearbox. If that's the case, then what the fuck are you doing? Ratting out anyway. You did 6 people out of like 400 plus.
I hope they get fired.
I'd
I
fucking fire 'em.
I hope that they find. I hope that that company finds you six out, and you six.
They
get
have
fired.
had enough negative shit thrown at them. That this negative shit that is being thrown at them
that's
is
not warranted
at all.
Which is another thing is like,
and it's misleading as fuck.
Yeah,
I just want to point out how misleading it is. If you only follow headlines and fucking like Joe thumbnails or fucking Jim Sterling thumbnails, you would think just like when Borderlands came out, there were people I talked to who thought that Borderlands 3 had microtransactions, that you could buy the Ethereum and spend it on things from Crazy Earl.
Yeah.
Guns and shit. That was a thing. I heard people saying that. Just like with that, if you think that Randy Pitchford is this man, if you only follow that, it's probably why. Mm-hmm. You probably never saw the LinkedIn post for Maxine. You probably never cared enough to read through it and read the comments left below it from credible fucking employees of Gearbox who are saying this isn't how it is. Working here is awesome. It's one of the best jobs I've ever had in the industry.
Oh yeah. But then, like, that vocal outrage with that, and not only that, but with how Borderlands 3 launched, I feel like I am completely on the other side of the fucking aisle of thinking on that subject. Yeah. I think it's perfectly fine. I love the game. I think it is the best because they don't tie you up into these seasonal limited bullshit
don't play it all
fucking
the time.
events.
We haven't bought the DLC, but we know it's a game that we will go back to once all the DLC's out. We bought the season pass.
But a game like Final Fantasy VII Remake drops, Chapter 1 for $60 goddamn dollars for a 40-hour experience, which is going to continue with how many episodes? Who the fuck knows?
Who knows?
But it's $60 per installment.
And Austin was saying that there's some parts that are just dragged out, just to drag it out.
Because it's one part of a full game. Yeah. You're paying $60 for this. They got to make sure that you feel like you got enjoyment.
Because it's Final Fantasy VII, man.
Yeah, dude. Everybody's like, I remember that game, Cloud. Remember Cloud? Do you remember what's her name, Illith or whatever the fuck?
If I wanted to play a compelling story about Cloud, I'd just play fucking Crisis Core on my PSP that's in my room.
Bam! Bam!
If I wanted to play a compelling game involving Cloud, I'd just play Zack's narrative. Anyway.
Which, I think that is the most overrated out of any of them. But who am I to think? I think all of them are fucking overrated.
I don't think they're overrated so much as they are...
I just don't understand the giant pop culture fucking icon that Final Fantasy VII and Cloud has become because a bunch of fucking, like...
Yeah, I don't either.
Otaku
I never played it.
Like
I never played it all the way through. I only played Final Fantasy VII, like, I think up until you got the fucking... It wasn't that long. It was, like, over a weekend at Lisa's apartment.
Yeah.
Like, it was a long time ago, too. Like, I don't even... And I was always fucked up when I was there, so I don't even know.
Yeah.
But I do know that I did play Crisis Core, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So, like, I would probably buy Final Fantasy VII if it was a full game. And I probably will once it's a full
$30,
game.
like a fucking remake.
Yeah, it should be 30. Well, even then, if it's a... That's the thing.
If it's an extensive remake.
Yeah, but for 60... Is it really 60?
It's 60 for part 1.
Wow.
I Googled it the other day, and I just shit myself
That's
because
how little I gave a shit. I didn't even know how much it was running for, but I was assuming they'd sell it for 30.
I was just curious because, like I said, I find it hilarious that it's this huge thing because it's like all of these hipsters were like, it's not just anime, but it's a video game.
Warcraft 3 completely redoes itself graphics-wise. Like, I mean, I'm not going to say they put in the extent that Final Fantasy 7, because Final Fantasy 7 is dated as fuck.
Right.
Like, Cloud was like a circle with some polygons. Spikes.
Yeah.
So, like... But to say that, like, that at 40 is just, like, a shameless rip-off cash grab, it's like, well, I mean, yeah, it is kinda. Aren't all remasters and remakes, though?
Aren't they all just banking off the nostalgia?
Yeah, that's the point of a remaster. They're all just cash grabs. Mm-hmm. It's a product that's beloved that they know will sell. They don't need to make a new IP and risk something new that could fail, because there's been a lot of games that come out that fail that they were hoping would be a huge, like, look at that one that launched with the Sony that they were like hyping out to be like launch day game, with the one with the werewolves and like the Victorian era,
the New Order.
Yeah, the New Order or whatever.
Or whatever that
1886.
18 something. Yeah.
The Order, whatever
The
it was.
Order. Yeah.
That, and it was a colossal
It ended up
failure.
being like a 20-hour experience.
Yeah, and it was a failure.
That you could consume in an afternoon.
Yeah, and it was like it was a failure, critically panned everyone like uniformly.
Right.
So it's like that's way riskier than like Capcom. Look at Capcom. They could do a Dragon's Dogma 2. They have the engine for it. Monster Hunter World is a thing. They could pull assets and reform and add new ones and create a new return to Grand Sys, man.
Yeah.
And expand on the map and make it bigger and wider and more open. Add more quests and NPCs and the build upon the lore and the world. They could do that.
Yeah.
Or they could just fucking, remaster Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, now Resident Evil 4. That doesn't need it. They don't need it. But they're being remastered because everyone's going to buy them. Like, if you're a fan of the Resident Evil, it's like day one, I got to buy it because I'm a fan. And it's that mentality.
Easy money. It's easy money.
Well, yeah, and it's that mentality that's been bred into the culture where you love pop culture. It's like you gotta have Funko dolls. Like you like Marvel. You gotta have like action figures. You gotta have like
comics.
You gotta have shirts. You gotta have merch. It's about the merch, dude. Because you don't want to just like something to genuinely like it. You want to like something so you can show everyone else how much you like it.
So you can say, "I'm a fan."
Yeah, you know I love this thing. I bought it day one.
I'm the biggest Marvel's fan.
And that's how companies like Bethesda can get away with your Fallout 76s, and that's why no one watches our channel.
Yep.
Because we're 100% not those people.
'Cause
we're not here to make you feel okay about your purchase. We are not here to make you feel okay about your thought processes. We're here to give you unfiltered thoughts from our brains.
Honest opinions.
That's all we can do.
And
based around information that we
receive. If you're one of these people who's complacent with Final Fantasy VII and you click on a video where, you hear a guy talking shit on Final Fantasy VII.
Being episodic, you're not going to subscribe.
You're not going to like it.
You're not going to like that video. You're not going to subscribe to that channel. And it's like, you're only going to see those things because we're putting in titles like we talk shit on Destiny. Who do you think's seeing it? It's not the people who like videos that talk shit on Destiny that agree with us. Those dudes are here, but they've been here for a while. The majority of people clicking our videos about Destiny are people who love Destiny.
Who like it.
And then they see our video and they're like, fuck this guy. And maybe we get one comment out of 100 telling us to go fuck ourselves. Maybe we get one comment that's like, good points all around. It gets to the point now where you gotta just say, fuck it. How much is enough? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we reached that one dude. But that one dude isn't the fucking majority of people on the internet.
Nope.
And that's what's fucking depressing. And it's not just like you said. It's not just this. It's the world.
Everywhere.
I can't interact with people. I can't interact with people anymore.
It's about everything.
It's about the phone.
Every
it's
facet
about
of
them.
life.
It's about them, who they are, how they feel. Them. It's not open dialogue about like, oh yeah. Like I'm interested in you.
Open, honest discussion that have critical thought process behind it. Yeah,
I personally have such a hard time even coming to be interested in someone because 90% of people I meet are in their phones. They're more interested in what's going on over there.
They're in their bubble.
They're not. They and then you talk to them and you're like, wow, this person has no personality, and that's why they're in their phone.
Their personality is literally a carbon
phone.
Copy of the bubble in which they reside in.
Yeah, dude. And you meet them and you're like, man, I've met you before, bitch. I've met you before.
I know who you are, because there's nothing more to you.
But someday the sun is going to blow up.
And coronavirus is infecting the toilet paper.
None of it will matter.
All the toilet paper's dying off.
None of it will matter.
New York's having mass burials for toilet paper, man. Like, there's just so much shit being wiped off of asses with all of this paper.
Everyone's looking out for their own ass, man. How beautiful a metaphor.
Mm-hmm.
In this time of crisis, the first thing that we notice is everyone's most important priority is watching out for their own fucking
Making
ass.
sure that their ass is clean.
Bunch of silly fucking fuckers, dude. Everyone else, our regular viewers, we love you. Thanks for being here even after all this time of us letting you down without content and stuff. I hope you understand, and I hope you understand that it's deeper than what we talk about, but that we don't want to talk about it because we don't want to cry about shingles. But if that makes sense, that's deep cut for the fans.
Fucking Gary Cooper, man.
Yeah.
What happened to Gary Cooper?
Gary fucking Cooper.
The strong, silent
See,
type.
what no one understood is if you got Gary Cooper talking, then there's some motherfucking this, some motherfucking dysfunction this, some motherfucking go fuck you.
And then you got him crying and weeping on the couch, and you can't get him to shut up.
So, let's drink one now for Gary Cooper. Let's drink one now for Tony Soprano. Let's drink one now for James Gandolfini. And let's drink one now for Jax Teller, who ate shit into Vic Mackey's truck and ruined an entirely good series with that act. And made it worthless, artsy, fartsy pap. Cheers, everybody. Till next time, stay awesome. That's me, Jax
Chubbz.
We're out of here. Keep kicking ass, stay safe, and as always, don't worry. Because if you worry, then it's just all you're going to end up doing.